Private Basic. This is the entry rank assigned immediately upon recruitment. Soldiers undergo basic military qualification training, learning drill movements, weapons handling, physical fitness standards, and military discipline. They have zero command authority and work under constant supervision, performing equipment maintenance and assisting higher ranks. The rank insignia is a blank slip-on with no markings. Advancement occurs after completing basic environmental training and qualification level 3, requiring approximately 30 months of service. Private train awarded after completing qualification level 3 and 30 months of service. These soldiers have finished occupational training and are qualified in their military trade, infantry, artillery, logistics, or communications. The insignia shows a single inverted chevron. They execute specialized tasks with reduced supervision, participate in field exercises, and maintain trade-specific equipment. This rank transitions soldiers from trainee to functional military professional, though command authority remains absent. Corporal, the first non-commissioned officer rank with legal authority to issue commands. Corporals supervise teams of 2 to 4 soldiers, ensure task completion, and maintain discipline. The insignia displays 2 inverted chevrons. Promotion requires qualification level 5 training, leadership demonstration, and typically 4 to 6 years of service. They conduct initial training for team members, enforce safety protocols, manage equipment accountability, and make tactical decisions within their scope. Corporals specialize in areas like combat operations, logistics, or technical support. Master Corporal, a senior non-commissioned member with authority over all corporals. The insignia shows 2 inverted chevrons below a maple leaf. With 8 to 12 years of service, they supervise sections of 8 to 12 soldiers, coordinate with other section leaders, and mentor junior corporals. They enforce discipline, ensure equipment maintenance across teams, and provide tactical expertise. In combat units, they function as section second-in-commands. Promotion requires qualification level 6 training, leadership course completion, and competitive selection. Sergeant, the only senior non-commissioned officer in the junior NCO category. Sergeants command sections of 8 to 12 soldiers, holding responsibility for training, discipline, and operational effectiveness. The insignia displays 3 inverted chevrons below a maple leaf. With 12 to 15 years of experience, they plan small unit operations, conduct performance evaluations, and maintain equipment accountability. They make real-time tactical decisions, communicate situation reports to higher ranks, and translate operational orders into executable tasks while managing soldier morale and readiness. Warrant Officer, entry into the warrant officer cadre with substantially increased responsibility. The insignia consists of the St. Edward's Crown. With 15 to 20 years of service, they serve as company quartermaster sergeants or platoon warrant officers, supervising training programs for platoons or companies. They manage equipment inventories worth millions, coordinate logistics for 100 to 200 soldiers, and advise officers on technical matters. They conduct counseling with subordinate NCOs, investigate disciplinary incidents, and oversee maintenance programs for vehicles and weapons systems. Master Warrant Officer, the senior leaders serving as primary advisors to company commanders. The insignia features the crown within a laurel wreath. With 20 to 25 years of service, they hold positions like company sergeant major, overseeing 100 to 200 soldiers. They enforce discipline across subunits, coordinate multi-platoon training, and supervise warrant officers. They manage administrative functions including personnel reporting and equipment tracking, coordinate battalion-level logistics support, and establish base camp operations during deployments. They represent enlisted concerns to officers and serve as acting company commanders when needed. Chief Warrant Officer, the highest non-commissioned rank serving as senior enlisted advisor to battalion or brigade commanders. The insignia displays the Canadian coat of arms. With 25 to 35 years of service, they hold positions like regimental sergeant major in units of 500 to several thousand soldiers. They advise commanders on morale, discipline, welfare, and readiness, establish standards across large units, and preserve regimental traditions. They conduct formal inspections, review serious disciplinary cases, participate in promotion boards, and coordinate with command teams on training calendars and resource allocation. Senior Appointment Chief Warrant Officer, These positions represent the most senior non-commissioned member appointments at formation, brigade, division, base, or wing levels. Personnel in these roles advise commanders on all matters affecting non-commissioned members and serve as the primary link between leadership and enlisted personnel across the formation. They typically work alongside colonels or brigadier generals and may hold positions such as brigade sergeant major, division sergeant major, base chief warrant officer, or wing chief warrant officer. The insignia displays the coat of arms positioned over the central insignia of the Canadian Armed Forces badge, featuring crossed swords, an anchor, and an eagle in flight. These appointments require extensive experience and demonstrated leadership at lower levels. Senior appointment chief warrant officers influence policy affecting hundreds or thousands of personnel, coordinate professional development programs, and maintain standards across geographically dispersed units. They participate in senior leadership meetings and provide critical perspective on how strategic decisions affect enlisted members. Command Chief Warrant Officer. Command Chief Warrant Officers serve at the command level, advising senior commanders on non-commissioned member issues across entire commands. These appointments include positions such as the Canadian Army Sergeant Major, who serves the Commander Canadian Army, and equivalent positions in other major commands. Command Chief Warrant Officers work directly with Lieutenant Generals or Vice Admirals and serve on strategic leadership teams. The insignia shows the coat of arms with a wreath of laurel wrapped around the base. The appointment requires Armed Forces Council approval. Command Chief Warrant Officers bridge the gap between tactical formations and strategic command levels, representing non-commissioned members at the highest operational levels. They influence policy affecting thousands of personnel across their entire command, coordinate with senior appointments at lower levels, and ensure enlisted perspectives inform strategic planning. They travel extensively to visit units, assess morale and readiness, and communicate command priorities to personnel at all levels. Canadian Armed Forces Chief Warrant Officer, the most senior non-commissioned member appointment in the entire Canadian Armed Forces. Created in 1978, this position serves as the primary advisor to the Chief of Defence Staff on all issues relating to non-commissioned members across Army, Navy, and Air Force. The appointment holder assists the Chief of Defence Staff in various duties and represents the voice of all non-commissioned members, approximately 80,000 personnel at the highest level of military leadership. The Canadian Armed Forces Chief Warrant Officer holds the substantive rank of Chief Warrant Officer if from the Army or Air Force, or Chief Petty Officer First Class if from the Navy. Regardless of service background, the appointment title remains Canadian Armed Forces Chief Warrant Officer. The insignia displays the coat of arms of Canada, surrounded by a wreath of 20 maple leaves in gold thread, worn on the lower sleeve of the service dress jacket. The cap badge shows the coat of arms in full-color metallic thread. Selection follows a stringent process as part of the General Officer Selection Procedures. The Canadian Armed Forces Chief Warrant Officer participates in senior leadership meetings with the Chief of Defence Staff and other senior commanders, influences policies affecting all enlisted personnel, coordinates with Command Chief Warrant Officers across all services, and serves as the senior enlisted voice in national defence planning. The position demands exceptional leadership, deep understanding of all three services, and ability to represent diverse enlisted perspectives at the strategic level. Officer Cadet. Individuals undergoing officer training at Royal Military College or commissioning programs. The insignia shows one pip above a white band. They learn leadership principles, tactical doctrine, and military ethics while participating in training exercises and physical fitness programs. Officer cadets hold no command authority and are never addressed as sir or ma'am. They observe operations, practice giving orders in scenarios, and complete field training exercises practicing platoon tactics. Training typically spans 4 years before commissioning to Second Lieutenant. Second Lieutenant, the first commissioned officer rank awarded upon training completion. The insignia displays a single pip. They command platoons of 30 to 40 soldiers under guidance from experienced NCOs and senior officers. They plan training exercises, ensure readiness standards, and conduct operational briefings. Second lieutenants rely heavily on platoon warrant officers for technical advice and learn to balance mission requirements with soldier welfare. They handle administrative duties, including performance evaluations and equipment accountability. This rank typically lasts 1 to 2 years before promotion. Lieutenant officers with proven platoon leadership and 2 to 4 years of commissioned service. The Insignia consists of 2 PIPs. They command platoons with greater independence, plan complex exercises involving coordination with supporting elements, and develop detailed operational orders covering objectives and contingency plans. They mentor second lieutenants and may serve as company second in command when captains are unavailable. During deployments, they maintain operational tempo, manage soldier morale through extended periods, and make tactical decisions protecting subordinates while accomplishing missions. Captain officers commanding companies of 100 to 200 soldiers or serving in battalion staff positions. With 5 to 10 years of service, the Insignia displays 3 PIPs. They bear full responsibility for company training, discipline, and operational effectiveness. Captains develop comprehensive training plans, allocate resources across platoons, and conduct performance evaluations for officers and senior NCOs. They manage company budgets, approve expenditures, and ensure accountability for equipment worth tens of millions. Staff captains serve as operations, intelligence, or logistics officers at battalion level, coordinating across multiple companies. Major, the lowest field grade officer position with 10 to 15 years of service. The Insignia consists of the St. Edward's Crown. They command specialized companies or serve as primary staff officers at battalion or brigade headquarters. As operations officers, they coordinate tactical plans across battalions of 500 to 1,000 soldiers. They develop operational plans involving complex synchronization of combat and support elements, brief commanders on concepts and risk assessments, and supervise captains and lieutenants on staff. During operations, they may serve as battle captains, managing tactical operations centers, and coordinating fire support. Lieutenant Colonel, officers commanding battalions of 500 to 1,000 soldiers or serving in senior brigade staff positions. With 15 to 20 years of service, the Insignia shows 1 PIP below the St. Edward's Crown. They bear ultimate responsibility for battalion readiness, training, and operations. They develop training plans spanning entire years, establish priorities across companies, and allocate resources including funding and equipment. They manage budgets in millions, oversee vehicle and weapons maintenance, and represent battalions in ceremonial functions. Staff lieutenant colonels serve as chief operations officers or logistics directors at brigade level, synchronizing activities across multiple battalions. Colonel, officers commanding brigades of 3,000 to 5,000 soldiers or serving at division headquarters. With 20 to 25 years of service, the Insignia displays 2 PIPs below the St. Edward's Crown. They develop strategic plans affecting thousands of soldiers, coordinate with division commanders on operational taskings, and integrate infantry, armor, artillery, and logistics battalions into cohesive forces. They manage budgets in tens of millions, oversee equipment acquisition, and participate in joint planning with Air Force and naval counterparts. Staff colonels serve as directors of operations or logistics at division headquarters, advising generals on policy matters and strategic planning. Brigadier General, the first general officer rank, commanding brigades or serving at Army headquarters. With 25 to 30 years of service, the Insignia consists of 1 maple leaf beneath crossed sword and baton surmounted by the crown. They command brigades during deployments, coordinate major exercises involving thousands, and represent the Army internationally. They develop operational concepts, coordinate with special operations elements, and manage relationships with allied forces. They oversee professional development programs and mentor colonels. Staff Brigadier Generals serve as directors of major functional areas at Army headquarters, translating national defense strategies into executable plans. Major General, 2-star officers commanding divisions of 10,000 to 15,000 soldiers. With 30 to 35 years of service, the Insignia displays 2 maple leaves beneath crossed sword and baton with crown. They develop operational plans for multi-brigade missions, make strategic decisions affecting force structure and procurement priorities, and coordinate with political leadership. They manage budgets in hundreds of millions, oversee personnel management for thousands, and represent the Army in national defense planning. Staff Major Generals serve as deputy commanders at Army headquarters, coordinating all functional areas including operations, intelligence, and logistics. Lieutenant General, 3-star officers commanding Army-level organizations or serving as Deputy Chief of Defense Staff. With 35 to 40 years of service, the insignia consists of 3 maple leaves beneath crossed sword and baton with crown. They serve as Commander of the Canadian Army, responsible for all personnel, training, and operations. They develop strategic plans shaping the Army's structure and capabilities, coordinate with the Chief of Defense Staff, and represent the Army before Parliament. They manage the Army's entire budget spanning billions, establish doctrine governing training and operations, and participate in NATO military committees. General, the highest rank, typically held by the Chief of Defense Staff. With 40 or more years of service, the insignia displays 4 maple leaves beneath crossed sword and baton with crown. This officer serves as senior military advisor to the Minister of National Defense and Prime Minister, commanding all Canadian Armed Forces personnel across Army, Navy, and Air Force, approximately 95,000 members total. They develop strategic plans for worldwide operations, allocate resources across all services, and ensure readiness for diverse missions. They participate in cabinet meetings, brief Parliament, coordinate with NATO leadership, and oversee major equipment acquisition programs while managing relationships with political leadership and international partners. To see how the United States organizes its most elite maritime units under a similar command framework, check out our detailed breakdown. Every U.S. Navy SEAL team explained in detail.